Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Mahabharata character series. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Mahabharata character series. So last time we discussed the second Pandava, that is Bhima. So today we'll be starting the discussion on the third Pandava, the most famous personality, the central hero of Mahabharata, that is Arjuna. So the actions of Arjuna, they are described more than anyone else in Mahabharata, and he plays the most pivotal role in the Kurukshetra war. And we know how he is the most intimate friend of Krishna, for whom Krishna spoke the entire Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna, when he sees the Virat Rupa of Krishna, he starts repenting for all the casual dealings which he had with Krishna. Sakheti matva prasabam yaduktam, He Krishna, He Yadava, He Sakheti. So he's remembering how intimate they were, in their conversations, in their casual talks. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, and Arjuna is an extraordinary character. So we'll be discussing the whole life of Arjuna based on the various incidents which happened in his life, and based on the lives of other characters, how they were influenced by Arjuna. So Arjuna, the name indicates, it means spotless, whose fame is spotless. That is Arjuna. It also means one who glows like silver. So the fame of Arjuna glows like silver. He is the most famous personality in the entire Mahabharata. There are many names of Arjuna, just like Krishna has many names. Devaki Nandan, Nandanandan, similarly, Arjuna has many names. One of the name of Krishna, Arjuna, is Krishna actually. Just like Draupadi is named as, also her name has Krishna, Arjuna is also called Krishna because he is also having a blackish complexion. One of the name of Arjuna is Falguni because he was born in the month of Falgun. He is known as Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi means so expert that he could shoot arrows with both his hands. Sabyasachi, expert, ambidextrous. Another name is Kiriti. Kiriti means Arjuna had a diamond studded in his crown, and that diamond was given by the Devatas. Many names he had. He is called as Vijaya because he is never defeated. Shwetavahan, his horses, they were white. That's why he was called a Shwetavahan. Another name is Dhananjaya, conqueror of wealth. Gudakesha, conqueror of sleep. Kapidhwaja, Parantapa, so many names he has. And Arjuna is famous because he has performed such wonderful activities and such chivalrous pastimes. So we'll be discussing the whole life of Arjuna now. So as we have heard that Kunti, Pandu could not beget children. So Kunti, when she revealed that she had a benediction from Durvasa Muni, so Pandu, he requested Kunti that she can call out to the Devatas, and she called Dharmaraj or Yamaraj, and she begot Yudhishthir Maharaj. She called Vayu, and she begot Bhima. Now, Pandu and Kunti, they were planning for the third child, whom to call. So they decided that we will call the king of all the devatas. We will call Indra. So they purified themselves by doing lots of austerities, and they pleased Indradev. So Indra, he came and he bestowed his expansion, his power as the son of Kunti. Just like Indra shines among all the devatas, Arjuna shines among all the warriors who existed on the planet at that time. He was famous all over the planet, all over the Bhumandal. There are many varieties of warriors in the Kurukshetra war, and Arjuna is a Atirathi warrior. Atirathi warrior means who can fight with 60,000 soldiers simultaneously. That's how powerful he was. There were very few who were Atirathi. Arjuna was among them. And the glories of Arjuna, they are very unique in terms of military warfare because he was expert in so many weapons. But especially his expertise, he is known for his archery. He is unparalleled in archery. So when Arjuna he took birth, there was celebration in the celestial planets also because the king of the devatas, Indra, his son was born. So there was celebration in the heaven also. So after all the Pandavas took birth, they stayed in forest for some time. And then because of the unfortunate event, Pandu, he left his body. So Kunti, she came back with all her sons. She came back to Hastinapur. And very soon, all the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they were studying under Dronacharya and learning their military skills. So in the academy of Dronacharya, Arjuna outshines all the other Pandavas and Kauravas also. And he was completely dedicated to his teacher. Extraordinary dedication he had. In general, people in this world think that talent is very critical. Yes, talent is critical, but along with that, the dedication and hard work is equally important. Otherwise, one cannot become expert. When we talk in terms of the material skills, even if you don't respect your teacher, because many times we see the students, they don't respect their teacher when they are in front, they may give all the nice words, but at the back they may speak all harsh and wrong things. They may make fun of their teacher, but still they may get all the knowledge. But that is not the same in terms of spiritual knowledge. If you want to cultivate spiritual knowledge, then most important is to respect the spiritual teacher. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Krishna is telling, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So 3 things are required: humility, inquisitiveness, and service attitude. So when we have these 3 qualities, if we see the first letter of these words, humility, H, inquisitiveness, I, service, S. So when we have these 3 qualities, then we will get his grace. Then we will get the grace of the Lord, and we will get the grace of spiritual master. Because spiritual master, he's not different than Supreme Lord. Acharya mam vijaniyan. One should give all the respect which is due to the Supreme Lord. As we know, the famous pastime when Srila Prabhupada, he went to Australia at one place. So the disciples, they had brought Rolls Royce for him. And the reporters, they were asking, oh, Swamiji, you are supposed to be a renounced person and you are driving, you are traveling in a Rolls Royce. So costly. Prabhupada said, oh, what is this Rolls Royce? Some rubber and steel. The representative of God deserves a golden Rolls Royce. And the reporter was completely bewildered. So therefore, if we want to advance in spiritual knowledge, spiritual science, then most essential is respecting the spiritual master and serving him. So Arjuna, he was not only working very hard, develop the skills, but still at the same time he was dedicated to the service of Dronacharya. And we'll see one example of how he was working hard. Once he was in his Gurukul, and in the evening time they were eating prasad, their food, and a gush of wind came, and there was a lamp which was burning, got extinguished. There was complete darkness. But he could find out the food in the plate and he could put in the mouth. So as he was doing it, a thought came in his mind. Just like even if there is no light, still I am able to eat. Why I am wasting time sleeping at night? You know. So in those days, they all were, they would practice throughout the day, and at night they would take rest. So Bhima, he thought, why I'm wasting time? So it is very, very important that we have to learn to explore our talents in every situation. Every situation which comes in our life, we have to find out and explore our potentials. That's how God has, made every person. Every person has some God given talents. Unfortunately, we don't explore those talents. These talents, they are like the gifts God has given to everyone. Krishna has given everyone some gifts. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Paurusham Rishu, I am the ability in man. And Krishna has given a specific ability to every individual. Just like if there is some birthday or some event, people, they bring some gifts. So by seeing the packaging, you may not understand and find out what is there inside. We have to take the endeavor to uncover that gift. Similarly, we have been given certain gifts. Everybody has some skills, some talents given by Krishna. We have to make the effort of removing the coverings, exploring our potential, and find out what is the gift which God has given me. Not for our personal sense gratification, but in the service of Krishna, we have to use that gift. Some people, they may explore the gift and they may use it for their own sense gratification. Others may use it for public welfare. But a devotee of Krishna, he uses that gift in serving God and serving the humanity. Because when we serve Krishna, naturally our devotee becomes benevolent. They are the benevolent benefactors. Bhurida. Bhurida means the benevolent people. So devotees, as practicing spiritualists, we have to find out the gift which Krishna has given us. Explore. We have to explore our potentials. We have so many potentials which we don't realize now. Just like Arjuna could realize his potentials because he contemplated. We have to think. We have to contemplate how Krishna wants me to serve him better. And then just see what glorious things come out. So from that day onwards, Arjuna, he started practicing at night using the sound. He would hear some sound and he would try to shoot that target. And slowly he became such expert in shooting arrows just by the sound. Just by hearing the sound, he could focus on the target. And he became expert archer who could shoot arrows even in the night. So therefore there is a famous saying, subhashit, nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. Just like the tiger is the king of the forest, but it is not that the deer enters the mouth, oh tiger, oh lion, please open your mouth, I want to enter. No, it doesn't happen like that. Even the tiger has to, even the lion has to struggle. He has to work hard to chase the deer, you know. So we are like that lion who has so many natural talents given by God. We have to work. We have to work out to find out our talents, explore the potentials we have. And somebody may say, I don't have any natural talents. Even if we don't have any natural talent, but still, if we work on, actually it is not possible. Everybody has something. And if we work on, we can develop those talents, those skills to serve Krishna better. Arjuna, he was the greatest archer, but we should not forget the hard work he had put to become the greatest. Many times in spiritual circles also, we see some very advanced devotees, very great devotees, and we may try to imitate their current actions, but we don't understand and realize how much hard work they have done to come to this level. Without hard work, it is not possible. Diligence leads to excellence. The more you work hard, the more we can become excellent in our service. If we want to excel in our services to please Krishna, not for our own aggrandizement, not to make ourselves, the central character, no, to serve Krishna better. Because we have to understand, we have embarked on a journey which is very, very lofty. Destination is very, very high, and many times it is very, very difficult. Although we say Krishna consciousness is simple, yes, it is simple, but not easy. It is simple, practicing bhakti, practicing devotion, simple. We have to do the simple things, chanting, following 4 regulative principles, simple. It looks simple, but when we have to do the same thing again and again with same intention, same enthusiasm, then it is difficult, because then mind comes in picture. So we have to keep our goal in our mind. We have to work very, very hard. Then only we can achieve the perfection. Excellence is not easy to be achieved. We have to be diligent. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. Whatever we may be doing, we have to keep Krishna in the center. We have to keep remembering Krishna. We have to pray to give us strength. Then we can do amazing things. So there is no substitute to hard work. Hard work is essential in spiritual life. As we were discussing one time about the principle of austerity, tapasya. Hard work is a tapasya. Hard work is very, very difficult. But if we continue the hard work, continue the tapasya of chanting our rounds with all attention, dealing with the devotees with all attention, not offending them, for sure we will also become perfect. To excel in any field requires hard work, not just spiritual. Even if somebody is working to get excellence in the material field, he has to work so very hard. How much we should be ready to work hard if you want to excel in spiritual life. So Arjuna, he excelled in archery, and eventually they completed their studies, and after the studies get over, We have to give the Guru Dakshina. So Dronacharya, he asked for a Guru Dakshina. He asked, you go and arrest Drupada, because Dronacharya had a enmity with Drupada. That is another long story we have discussed sometime in the past also. So Kauravas, out of arrogance, they thought, we will go first and we will arrest Drupada, and we will show how loyal we are to our teacher. So they went, and Karna was also there in this party, and they were thoroughly defeated by the army of Drupada. They were, because Kauravas, they were so very proud. They had no understanding, no estimation of the power of the opposite army, and they were defeated. The principle is applicable everywhere. If we become proud, if we become overconfident about our own strength, and we don't realize the power of the opposite army, it is natural that we will be defeated. In our fight with material energy, it is like waging a war against Maya. When somebody comes to spiritual life, it is like going upstream. The whole world is going downstream, trying to enjoy senses, trying to break all the principles. And here we are telling the world, oh no, you have to follow the principles, you have to say no to the sense objects. Very, very difficult. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even if one of the senses is allowed to wander, it can take away the discrimination of even a sober person. Indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. Indriyani pramathini. The senses are very strong. It can take away the discrimination of even a sober person. So humility is very, very important. If we are humble in our journey, humility is like a right type of vessel in which we can hold the mercy which comes from teachers, which comes from Krishna. As it is said, Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. If somebody is not humble, he cannot keep the knowledge. He may get so much of the knowledge, but that knowledge will not remain with him. It will leak out. It will not go to the heart. It will just leak out. So Kauravas, they were defeated, and then Pandavas, they went and headed by Arjuna, and very easily Arjuna, he defeated the entire army of Drupada, arrested Drupada, and brought him in front of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya, he was so very happy and satisfied to see the expertise of his disciple Arjuna. So although Arjuna is the middle son of the Kunti, among all the 5 Pandavas, Yudhishthir and Bhima, they were elder. Nakul and Sahadev, they were younger. Although he was the third one, but still his talent and skill was unparalleled. Actually, he excelled everyone in archery. There was no one on the entire earth who could compete with Arjuna. And later in the exhibition match, when Karna came and he challenged, he could show all the skills which Arjuna had, but he could not excel Arjuna. And later when he demanded that, oh, I want to have a one-to-one fight with Arjuna, he wanted a dual combat. But that time the evening came and the sun set, so he was not allowed. Some people say, oh, because he was not from Kshatriya community, so therefore Kripacharya said, no, you cannot fight in a dual combat with Arjuna because you are from a lower caste. And we have discussed this in the topic of Karna. What was the reasons behind it. So just like Yudhishthir, although he was the king from the side of Pandavas, and Duryodhan was the leader of Kauravas, but Duryodhan, he was having arch rivalry towards Bhima, not towards Yudhishthir. Similarly, Arjuna, his arch rival was Karna. You know. And many times people say, oh, Karna was a better Kshatriya, better warrior, better archer than Arjuna. But actually, it was not so. And we have discussed in this in detail in our topic of Karna. Just to give a synopsis, if we have to take a scorecard, in the martial exhibition, Karna equaled the skills of Arjuna. So the score was 0-0. Then Pandavas, they went and defeated Drupada, and Karna and the Kauravas, they could not defeat. So the score was 1-0. Later, in the Swayamvar of Draupadi, it is said, we'll discuss that in detail. Actually, Karna participated, it is said in some versions, and he could not hit the target. So the score was 2-0. So there are many things, many occasions where Karna, he was defeated directly or indirectly by Arjuna. So when Pandavas, they came to Hastinapur, Duryodhan, naturally he was envious of them. So he conspired and sent all the Pandavas to Varnavart, and somehow they escaped with the help of Vidura. And as they were traveling in the forest with Kunti Maharani, so many obstacles came. There was a demon Hidimba, he came. He was killed by Bhima. Then Hidimbi was there. She was attracted to Bhima. We have discussed this story in great detail. And from the marriage of Bhima and Hidimbi, Ghatotkach was born. Such a powerful personality who played a very major role in Kurukshetra war. So Pandavas, they were expert in converting all the obstacles into opportunities. That's how a devotee should be. Actually, that's how any person should be. Whenever obstacle comes, we should learn the art of converting the obstacles into opportunities. It may seem that we are a failure, but the failures, they always, they work as a stepping stone. So problems will come, obstacles will come, but we should have the right mindset to convert those obstacles into opportunities. In spiritual life also, when we are faced with our conditionings, we are with our bad habits, those conditionings and those bad habits should impel us to become more and more strong and serious. They should not discourage us. We should become more and more strong. We should be more and more prayerful when problem comes in our life. We should pray intensely to Krishna to give us strength, to give us right type of intelligence to deal with the problems. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam. I give the knowledge and intelligence to a person who is completely devoted to serve me. So if we have complete dedication in service of Krishna, for sure Krishna will give us intelligence in our difficult times. How to come out of it? How to see these problems as opportunities to grow? Because unless we are faced with some problems and dangers, we don't take to Krishna's consciousness seriously. That's the time we are helpless. Helplessly we cry for Krishna when we are in danger. So all the problems, they are actually opportunities to grow in Krishna consciousness. Of course, although it looks as a very lofty thing, but that is the ideal. That's what we have to learn. There is no other way. We have to learn to see the obstacles as opportunities. So, as they were going in the forest, traveling, passing through jungles, Pandavas, they reached a river, and they had to cross the river. So as they were trying to do so, they heard a voice. The voice said, "This place belongs to us. We are the rulers of this place, and no human can cross this river in the night time. The evening time is for you. Humans can use this place in the evening time, but now night is there and it belongs to us. So you cannot cross this river." But Pandavas, they had to cross the river. It was urgency. So Arjuna, he was carrying a torch in his hand, and he tried to, find out the source of the voice. And he saw that there was a Gandharva, and he was speaking all these things. So this celestial personality, his name was Angarparna, and he had a very effulgent chariot. He was carrying a huge bow. So Pandavas, they said, "Oh, we have to cross this river. How can you say that this belongs to you? This is property of God, and the nature belongs to God. Who are you to claim proprietorship over this place?" So the Pandavas, actually, they were humble, but at the same time, they were very firm. This is how a spiritualist should be: humble, at the same time firm. If some materialist person comes and says, "Oh, you are all very silly people, you cannot do anything much, you are just chanting and practicing all this spirituality because you cannot achieve anything." A devotee should be most ambitious, not for himself, but for serving Krishna. A devotee, a spiritualist, is most firm in his convictions. He never gets disturbed. He does not allow others to trample on him, because he knows, I am there for serving Krishna. My existence is for serving Krishna. I cannot allow others to exploit me. So Pandavas, they were humble, but very strong, very firm. And this Gandharva, he was very intoxicated because of his power. He said, "Either you flee or you die." And he started shooting arrows. Now at this time, Pandavas, they didn't have any weapons. Only Arjuna was carrying a torch. So Arjuna was so expert that with his torch, he destroyed all the arrows which were shot by this Gandharva. And then Arjuna, because he had learned so many of the wonderful celestial knowledge of the weapons, so he invoked a celestial weapon. Generally a weapon, a arrow, so the celestial weapon has to be put on the arrow and shot. But because now Arjuna had no bow and arrow, so he invoked a celestial weapon and he shot even without an arrow, without a bow. And this weapon was so powerful. It was blazing ball of fire, and this weapon threw away this Angarparna, and the entire chariot of this Gandharva was burnt to ashes. This Gandharva, he fell down unconscious. Arjuna, he went and grabbed the neck of this demon. He dragged him towards this Gandharva, and dragged him towards Yudhishthir Maharaj and brought him. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was just about to punish him. Then a lady came, celestial looking lady came, and she pleaded, "Please forgive him. He is my husband. Please forgive him for his impudence, because he is intoxicated with his power, and that's why he's speaking all these things. That's why he did some wrong to you." Very important, when somebody has power can intoxicate. Only a person who has spiritual convictions, who is fixed in his foundation of scriptures, he can be humble. Janma karma vayo rupa vidya aishwarya dhanadibhi yadi yasya na bhavet stambha tatrayam mad anugrahat. Krishna is telling to Bali Maharaj, Vaman Dev is telling to Bali Maharaj. After Bali Maharaj surrendered to Krishna, Vamana Dev is appreciating Bali. He's saying, this king, this personality had the wealth of all the world, all the universe. Personally, he was very strong, beautiful, youthful body, Janma, high birth, but still he became humble. Only if I show mercy to somebody, he can be humble in midst of all the material opulences. Tatrayam mad anugrahat. Only the mercy of the Lord can protect one from pride. Otherwise, it is so very easy to become proud. So Yudhishthir, when he heard this request from this lady, he said, oh, who will kill a person who has surrendered, who is unconscious, who is without weapons, and who is protected by a woman? Who will kill a person? Oh, you don't worry, I'll not kill him. You go away. So he, forgave that Gandharva and he said, you can go away, don't trouble others. By this time, this Gandharva, he had also become very humble because he saw that, he realized that he was saved. Because otherwise, Pandavas could have killed him. So he humbly said, oh, Yudhishthir Maharaj, oh Pandavas, thank you for giving me life. I want to do something for you in return. He said, oh Arjun, you are such a formidable warrior. I have never seen anybody. Because generally, humans, they are less powerful than Gandharvas. But he said, because you are practicing celibacy and you have served your guru, you have such powerful celestial weapons. That's why you could defeat me. Otherwise, humans can never defeat Gandharvas. So very important to understand that if we receive the grace of our superiors, we can do unimaginable things in any field. The grace of the superiors is the very, very crucial. And it is the most crucial thing in the spiritual life. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. If we get the grace and mercy of the spiritual masters and the superior Vaishnavas, we can achieve unimaginable things. The most difficult thing is to achieve Krishna, to achieve love of God. We can achieve that if we are, if we get mercy of the spiritual masters and the Vaishnavas. So this Gandharva, he said, actually, your feat of burning my chariot is unimaginable. So this Gandharva, he was known as Chitra Ratha. Chitra Ratha means a person who has wonderful chariot. Chitra, very astonishing. But now his chariot was burnt. So he said, from now onwards, I will take the name of Dagdha Ratha. Dagdha Ratha means the person whose chariot was burnt. Arjuna said, oh, I don't want any charity from you. I didn't forgive you to get something from you. I forgave you because it is a duty of a Kshatriya to forgive a surrendered person. Gandharva, this Chitraratha, he was completely humbled. This shows a godly nature. To err, as it is said, to err is human, to forgive is divine. To become angry after getting defeated is normal for a human being. Anybody who gets defeated, he becomes angry on the person who defeated him. But to become humble after getting defeated, it is a divine quality. Only a person with spiritual values becomes humble when he is defeated, because he recognizes the superior nature of the person. That's what happens generally when a warrior is defeated. He becomes angry and humiliated. But here, this Gandharva, because he's a divine personality, he's a devata, therefore he is accepting humble position, and he was ready to reciprocate with Arjuna. You know, and he said, "You Pandavas, you are glorious, but I like to suggest something." He said, "You all are roaming in this forest. You are about to be crowned as kings, but you don't have a teacher. Please find a bona fide teacher. The more qualified a teacher is, the more fortunate the disciple is." It is very important. If the teacher is very qualified, expert, he can make his disciple most fortunate. It is actually a fortune to have a expert teacher, a bona fide teacher. It is fortune. And we are so fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada as our preeminent, Siksha Guru, our teacher. So fortunate, unparalleled in the history. Nobody has done what Srila Prabhupada has done. And we have become most fortunate because we are connected to such a wonderful teacher. But we have to understand that we have become fortunate, we have to remain fortunate. If we become foolish, we may lose this fortune. We may lose the chance to perfect our life. So as suggested by Pandavas, as suggested by this Chitraratha, the Pandavas, they started looking for a teacher. And this Chitraratha, actually he suggested that there is a very wonderful priest. His name is Dhaumya. You go, find out, and surrender to him. So these Pandavas, they started searching out this Dhaumya, and they found that this Dhaumya, he was a Vaishnava. He was a great devotee of Krishna. So very happily, they came ahead and they requested that you please accept us as your disciples. Dhaumya, he also had heard much about, Pandavas. So very happily he accepted Pandavas as his disciple. And from then onwards, he was there with Pandavas always. Many times we hear about Dronacharya, but Dronacharya was just their martial guru, military teacher. But this Dhaumya, he's the unsung hero. He is there with Pandavas in all situations. He was there in 12 years of Agyat, 12 years of Vanvas with them. He was always guiding them, always giving wonderful instructions. He was there with them always. That is actually a spiritual master. One time, one devotee asked Prabhupada, he was in his last days. Just he was like a bag of skin and bones, very thin. So when disciples, they would come and see, they would start crying. Prabhupada asked, "Why are you crying?" So this devotee said, "Prabhupada, we are crying because when you are gone, we will miss you." Prabhupada said, "No, I'll never go. I'll always remain in my books." Another disciple said, "Prabhupada, we are so very sad because when you are gone, how we will communicate with you?" Prabhupada said very beautiful thing. He said, "Don't worry. I will communicate to you through your dreams. I will come in your dreams and I'll give you right type of guidance. I will come as Chaitya Guru. I will inspire you." A spiritual master never leaves his disciple. And Dhaumya, he is showing by his personal example how glorious he was. No matter what happens, he was there with Pandavas. He was not that type of guru who is there with his disciple in prosperity. Oh, Pandavas have become a king, I'll be with them. No, he was there with them always. And so then Pandavas, they were traveling with Dhaumya now, and they reached the kingdom of Drupada. And there, the most glorious moment of Arjuna's life was going to happen. What is that? That we'll discuss in the next class. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So
thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Because Arjuna, in any case, is a very, very fascinating personality. And one of the comments one of the things which you said was, Prabhuji, that we should utilize all our talents in the service of the Lord. And you also said that we should meditate on, what our talents are. I don't know what exact word which you used, but Prabhuji, is there a way to understand and identify our talents? Some of us, do not have much of talents. What can be very normal, not like Arjuna or any of those. So there is very clear what are your qualities and.
Okay. So over a period of years, everybody knows that there are few things I am comfortable doing, and there are few things I'm expert in doing. Actually, to understand our skills, it is like understanding our swabhav. What is our swabhav? I am expert at doing it, and I am comfortable in doing it. So these are the two things which we have to introspect. Nobody can tell us this is what you are expert in. We have to introspect our own lives. Okay, this is one thing which I like to do, and I'm expert also. We have this understanding and experience. There are few things which we are expert at, but we don't like to do. We can do it better, but we don't like to do. And there are few things which we are expert at and we like to do. We should learn to develop those skills, those talents which we are expert at and which we are comfortable at. And this is our own introspection. We have to find out few things. Like some people, they are good at managing, some people are good at singing or cooking or organizing things. So many things are there. Some are expert in, just like in ISKCON, some are expert in book distribution. So there are so many things we have to find out ourselves, that okay, I like these things and I'm expert in these things. So these are our talents. Over a period of years, we have seen so many devotees who never sang in their life, and after coming to ISKCON, they are now the best of the singers in ISKCON. Who never spoke, they are the best of the speakers. Who never managed, they are best of the managers. So they found out their talents and they worked on it. Nothing happens without hard work. So they found, okay, I have some good skill, I have to work on it. So it is everyone's individual introspection to find out, okay, this is a thing I like to do and I can do it in a better way. So why not work on it? So, there was one survey which was made. There are few things which we are expert at, and there are few things which we like to do, and we are not so expert at that. There are few things which we are expert at and we like to do also. How much time we should spend on the things which we are expert and which we like to do? And how much time we should spend on those things which we are not expert at, but which we like to do? Actually, one of the very prominent speakers, very famous speakers. He said, actually, we should spend our 100% of time in doing things which we are expert and which we like to do, rather than spending time on things which we like to do but we are not expert. These people become the leaders. I'm expert in that and I like to do that. I'll spend 100% of my time in those things. There are a few things which we like to do but which we are not expert at. Why spend time in that? Spend time in that which we like to do and which we are expert at. That's how we can contribute maximum to Srila Prabhupada. We can serve Krishna in a maximum way in that capacity. So it is actually everyone's individual introspection to find out, okay, ये मेरे को अच्छा लगता है और ये मैं कर भी सकता हूँ. I can do it better. I like to do these things. So there is no substitute to introspection. Nobody can tell you, okay, you are expert at this, you like to do this. No, that is our personal contemplation. We have to explore our own talents. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, another statement which you made was that Vaishnavas are very expert at making obstacles into opportunities. But there are certain obstacles which come into the life of Vaishnavas. At that point of time, they definitely don't seem like opportunities. So how do you propose to, how do we see them at that point of time?
Actually, this is a cultivation which we have to do. As Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is a sort of cultivation. It is an art. It is an art we have to develop. It will not happen overnight. It will not happen that, okay, tomorrow morning when problem comes, I will start looking them as opportunities. No, it will not happen overnight. It will take time. But we have to put our conscious endeavor to see problems as opportunities. When we put our conscious endeavor, then slowly it will go deep. It will get ingrained. Then it will be natural. Just like Vidura, when he was thrown out of his palace, of the palace of Duryodhan, he said, "Oh, Gata Vyathoya Durumanayana." He considered it as the mercy of the Lord. He considered that this is orchestrated by internal potency. Just like in the case of Narad Muni, as a small boy in his past life, his mother died and he thought, oh, it is mercy of the Lord. Tada tada mishasya bhaktanam sham abhipsitah anugraham manyamana pratishtam dishamuttaram. Anugraha. He considered it as mercy. Why? Because he trained himself in that way. In association of devotees, he trained himself to see the problems as opportunities. It is a training we have to do. Otherwise, it will not happen automatically. That is what is sadhan bhakti, right? That is what we have to cultivate, we have to practice. To see problems as opportunities. For sure, it will not happen automatically. It will not happen spontaneously. We have to put our conscious endeavor to see the problems as opportunities. Because we have to have this very important understanding that when we have taken to spiritual life, we are now under the domain of Krishna. We are not in the domain of material energy now. We are not in the domain of Yamraj. We are in the domain of Krishna. Krishna orchestrates the life of his devotees personally. Whether a new devotee or a pure devotee, doesn't matter. Personal intervention is done by Krishna. So if we have this understanding, then for sure we know that these problems which are coming in my life, they are given by Krishna, not because he has put. It is our own reactions which Krishna has given in a modified way. But Krishna wants me to advance in my consciousness. Krishna wants me to come close to him. And now I have to think how. So that is our personal endeavor. We have to be conscious about whatever is coming, it is for me to grow in life. And you can see the whole Bhagavatam full of such things. All the devotees mentioned in Bhagavatam. You will never hear a story, oh, there was a devotee. He practiced Krishna consciousness very nicely. And then he went back to spiritual world. No, the life of all devotees in Bhagavatam, full of problems, full of troubles. Why they are there? Just to tell us, just to show us the examples. You have to develop this consciousness. So that is our cultivation. That is our endeavor we have to put. It will not happen automatically for sure. That's why it is difficult. Because Krishna wants us to experience and grow. Otherwise, because Krishna knows how a particular devotee can advance. If he thinks by giving him opulences and all the nice things, he will grow in Krishna consciousness, he will give that. And that's what he did with Sudama. Sudama was attached to his poverty. So Krishna, he purified that by giving him opulence. So whatever Krishna does, he does it to make us more and more closer to him. So this is the cultivation we have to make. Conscious endeavor. It's the art we have to learn. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. So we'll have to maybe fake it for some time in the mood that we have to make it at some point of time. Maybe, and then a continuous effort, like you said, will help us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Anybody else has a question which they would like to ask? Any comment or any question? Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai.